So, setup wise for me, very, very good. Certainly standing with a very good posture. Ball position, alignment, grips, all looking very, very nice there, okay? Taking the golf club away in both cases. Okay, the club is going back now nicely towards the camera. Same in this case. Bit more on the inside, but yeah, towards the camera and in sort of good position as we go back. Top of the backswing. This is where the lift now is starting to happen. And I think now you sort of break it down sort of from here to here. You can see how much that sort of left arm goes up, basically across your right ear there. Almost half your face is covered by your left arm as I'm hiding behind. No one can see me. It's if you hit a lot of golf, I mean, don't get me wrong, there are people who play golf on tour with a sort of left arm that's quite high, but they're in thousands of balls. They know exactly where their club's going from, and they can manipulate it. Okay, at the moment I think most people when they sort of play recreational golf, we want the swing to be what we call sort of one plane. Your shoulders are on that plane, your arms on that plane. If we can get your shoulders on that plane, your left arm on that plane, it's just a lot easier to try and function and be more efficient with. So as you go back here now, there's a little bit of rising there with the body, which is to be expected, but you see your left arm there now. At least your left arm and your shoulders kind of match up, where you compare them there. I mean, just how much collar you can see. You can still see the edge of your neck there. There's a lot of daylight now between where your left arm's gone. Now, because of that, you've risen up. If you were to stay up here, okay, your club would come back down and basically miss the golf ball. So you've kind of got to do something now to get back to the golf ball. And what you then do to try and do that is that sort of dropping down now. As you can see, your head sort of dropping from the top of the mountain down sort of a good long way. In that dropping and the speed you put into the golf ball, the club now is outside your hands here. As you can see on the way back, it was kind of in line with the camera. Now the club is over there. When you come into the golf ball now, the next one, that golf club now is way outside. Like I say, you could never hit the ground here. It's just impossible. And the club, your arm's not long enough, okay? So when you come into the golf ball, the club's coming from across this way. When the path of the club, and we talk about the path where the direction the club swings from, is to the left, and the club face is pointing either at the target or a bit to the right potentially, you will get left to right spin, okay? Which is the 1500, 2000 RPM, as we said, to the right, okay? Now what that does, obviously, because you hit the ball further anyway, that is going to potentially get yourself into trouble, but you're also going to lose yardage by doing that, yeah? Because the ball's now going to be spinning and losing more forward momentum, okay? Whereas this one here now, when you swing the top of the backswing, because you're not going to have to worry about dropping your arms out so much, you can bring the golf club down more down the line. Your club now is probably coming across the golf ball just a little bit. Still a little bit more than we want to, but not quite as much. Your arms are slightly, look where the gap is between your hands and your legs there, okay? So your hands, so that gap there is
my left arm with my shoulders.
Yeah, left arm across your shoulders there, it's a bit more in plane there. Obviously making sure that when you do that, your shoulders are still staying in a little bit of an angle. If you sort of stand up and then get your left arm across your shoulder, the club will be so far behind you that you get stuck. So it's keeping your spine, it's keeping your shoulder angle and your spine angle in the club kind of swinging on one plane, we call it, okay? We don't want to be sort of going up and down and round and too many different things. It's just too hard to try and be consistent with. So when the club comes in this way, good strike of the ball there now. That ball now sort of going down the range with a lot less side spin. I think the best one you had there was like 282 with a little bit ground first. Now the club is coming more from this direction. The potential to hit the ground is obviously going to be greater because the ground is nearer to you. So the one you had 282 where the club came nicely from the inside, just hit the ground a bit early, so you lost a bit of yardage. So for me it's about trying, and what you will find when you get your most efficient tee shot, where you don't hit the ground behind the ball, you hit the sweet spot, the club comes from in here in a nice direction, you hit the golf ball in the middle of the club face, you've got enough energy and power in that swing to get towards that sort of 150 kind of threshold, 140, 150 threshold, okay? If you're coming across the golf ball, you lose, we'll say 10, 15, maybe 20%. If you miss-hit the golf ball, either from the toe or the heel because of the angle you're coming from, another 10 or 15%. Hit the ground behind the ball, and so all these things add up. Suddenly 140 yards, you're sort of dropping 10, 20 yards each time, you're down to sort of 70 or 80 mark, okay? I've got to say, pleasantly very, very pleased and surprised in terms of how much more yardage you've gained. I mean, from when we first started back in the summer with the individual ones, you were 60, 70 was a good drive, wasn't it? Now 100 yards is kind of like, if you don't get 100 yards, you're a bit like, which is great, which is good. I mean, it shows then, Sarah said, exactly. When you hit shots now that maybe aren't as good as you are, and people say, nice shot, like, well, no, it's not. Not in a nasty way, but you know kind of what your good shot is now, whereas before, it would have been a good shot,
Yeah.
Now it's not.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's what it comes down to. So in time in the future now, the shots you're in there, it goes 120 yards, but you'd be like, oh, not so good because I can go 150. So it just keeps pushing the boundaries forward.
Yeah, thank you.
You will do. And I think hopefully now, there's a trust issue, because I mean, you do trust me, obviously, but when I said about hitting the ball 120, 125 or 110, you were looking at me as if like,
Yeah.
really? Yeah, come on, what have you been? You've had a few of the sherbets this afternoon kind of thing. And again, you can see with somebody physically what speed they can create, which relates to how much distance they can get. I can look at someone's golf swing and go, okay, there's enough speed in that person's golf swing to get this yardage. You could see the speed was there. The speed just wasn't being efficiently utilised. That was the problem. It's going across the ball and down and just miss it in the golf ball. Now you're getting a lot more energy to the golf ball. The good thing is we could just improve it even more so. So, bit of practice, we'll get there. Okay?